Hello, and welcome to Troubles in Tory. This is session 22 of our first campaign of Chronicles of the Fae. I'm Faye, the MC for this campaign, and with me I have some friends, and we're going to play D&D. Say hi, friends.
Hello.
Hi, friends.
This campaign is a special project, one of many set in the world of the Wilder. The Wilder project is a shared world IP where creators can use the structure and lore of this awesome fantasy world called the Wilder in order to create their own stories and games. Some of these stories and games already exist or are in progress, such as our webcomic Magnum L, our mobile game Tower of Gaia, and our tabletop board game Kingstone, all of which are either currently released or coming soon. To learn more about those projects and how to support them, you can go to www.thewilderproject.com to learn more. Before we begin the campaign, I'd just like to cover some ground rules for the channel. Number one, we are not pro D&D players. We have receptive ears and open hearts for any feedback that folks have, but it's our game and we're going to play it how we like it. So we hope you'll respect our playstyle, and we'll make sure our other community members respect yours too. Along those lines, this campaign is set in a world other than Forgotten Realms, the world of the Wilder, which is not directly compatible with D&D rules. For the most part, we'll be sticking to the rules of D&D for all the mechanical aspects of play, but flavor-wise, everything's not always going to be explained in the same way that it might be explained in the descriptions of the effects from the game. We are implementing some custom rules that we anticipate releasing in a module further down the line so that you can play D&D in the world of the Wilder too. Finally, one of the reasons why I love playing D&D the most is because you can never expect what might happen next, but that does mean none of us will have complete control over the content that will be covered during the course of the campaign. Please be mindful of what content might be potentially distressing to you, and if you feel like it is coming up, we highly encourage that you take a break from the live stream and pick the story back up via VOD on YouTube once the live play is over. All right, let's play some D&D.
Whenever you say the line about not being pro D&D players, my brain finishes that sentence and it says, we're anti D&D players.
Well, see, I have the opposite thing where, like, whenever he says that, I go, well, maybe you.
Listen, if you're a pro D&D player, you have to send me a pay stub. Otherwise, doesn't count. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway. You guys did pay me a $250.
That's true. That's true. You can take that to the bank.
I already did. Well, good.
All right. Last session, our party was recovering from the catastrophic and haunting events at Must Manor the night before. Anna received some intel that she had previously paid for from Edith Willoughby, and her network of urchin toys was able to report that her business associate, Anna's business associate, Anatoly Antonenko, was smuggling thunder powder into the city of Toraigh, and that a meeting had been agreed to by Jago Martin, a toy who oversees historical records of the city of Toraigh in the government district in City Plaza. Then the party spent some time getting on the same page about what happened the night prior and how it informed their priorities for what to do next. Ultimately, they decided to try to avoid conferring with either the Greybloods or the enforcers until they could get more information, out of fear that the blame for this Must Manor incident might potentially be pointed at them. The group left to meet Jago Martin out the back door, all except Reuben, who went out the front to distract Brannick from the Greybloods, who had been watching the front entrance to the Happy Sea Dog Inn. Brannick now faces off Reuben, insisting that the group can't go anywhere until they go and speak to the Greybloods. And that is where we pick back up. So, it's about 1 in the afternoon. It's a bright but overcast day. Reuben, you are standing on the stairs descending from the front entrance of the Happy Sea Dog Inn into a small kind of alleyway off the main roadway in Keel Hall Heights. And Brannick has stood up from the stoop that he was sitting on and kind of positioned himself in the middle of the roadway here, and his two compatriots, the Poppet and the Owl Stuffkin, have also come out of the alleyway and are standing on either side of him. And he just finished telling you that you need to come with him.
All right. You got me fair and square. 3 against 1. That's fair, right, boys? All right, let's go.
Okay, but where's everyone else? We need your friends.
Let them eat. You don't need them. You just need me.
Look, you all were some of the only people who have any understanding of what happened last night. That's some pretty valuable intel. You think the Greybloods are just gonna let y'all walk off with that before we get some information about what in the Maker's name happened last night?
Well, I'll just stay with Dummy and Dumber over here, and why don't you go in and grab them then?
Make a deception check for me.
Whoops.
Joke's on you. That's actually their names.
Yeah, but, so sorry. The map was like really hard to move for some reason. I couldn't.
All good.
Okay, I rolled a 4.
Oh no.
Oh, we're off to a good start.
I mean, I'm not deceiving them. I'm asking them to just go in and get them.
Well, but you know they're not there.
Well, I don't know they've left yet. I walked out the front before.
Okay,
Okay.
maybe they'll get a nat 1.
He says, and you watch as kind of all the friendliness that you've ever seen in Brannick's face goes away for a second. And he turns to the other two and he says, keep an eye on him. And then looks at you and the smile comes back. He goes, and then he goes and starts walking into the Happy Sea Dog.
Well, I don't like two-faced people.
So what's the story with you two? You guys have personalities or what?
Story.
The owl Stuffkin just kind of goes and doesn't really react.
The owl stuff and goes, whoo, whoo.
Yeah. They go, whoo. No. Meanwhile, in the rear of the Happy Sea Dog, the rest of the party is making their way out as this is happening. You all rolled your stealth checks last session.
And failed.
No, I believe the average was decent.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's a group stealth check. So yeah, and Shoal got a 24. And you all walk down the steps and begin walking through what is kind of like a small square courtyard. It looks like maybe some of the residents of other buildings maybe use this as like a bit of a like kind of hangout space. There's like a makeshift bench made out of some planks of wood and crates. And there's lots of like tracks of dirt and there's like sand and mud and dirt in the center. It looks like there's a lot of small footprints back there. Shoal, you, with your perception check, were able to tell that there were two individuals concealed around the sides of buildings in the back here. And so as you all make your way through this little courtyard, with Shoal leading the way based off of where they know these individuals are, you do not get stopped. And you are able to make your way through. And once you are across the courtyard, you can see there's a small kind of alleyway between two of the buildings that you can see leads out to another roadway. And you were able to set on out. Okay.
Sweet.
A few moments later, the door opens behind you, Ruben, and Brannick comes back out.
I thought you were going to say Brannick followed them, and I was like, that's bullshit.
No. Brannick comes back out, very stern look on his face, and you can see he has a knife in his hand. And he says, "Where are they?"
Are you blind? Clearly they were at the lodge table eating breakfast. If they're not there now, I'm out here, right? So how the hell would I know where they are?
And then his face opens up into a smile. He goes, "All right, well, I guess we'll grab some lunch too." And he walks over to you, puts an arm over your shoulder, and you can feel the dagger kind of resting next to your torso. And his two compatriots walk up with him, and he begins to kind of forcefully guide you up the stairs and back into the Happy Sea Dog.
Oh boy.
Did you even check the rooms?
He says, I didn't check the rooms. Why don't you show me the way? And
Don't
he
show them our
begins
rooms.
leading you up the stairs. And he says,
Buy some time.
what floor are we looking at? What floor are you looking at?
Well, I mean, I was in a room by myself. I don't know what rooms they were in. Should we just check all of them?
Roll deception
Oh my
check.
god.
Oh boy.
With
This is a bold
disadvantage,
strategy.
please.
With disadvantage.
Yes.
Wait, is that not the truth? No.
It is not the truth in so many different ways. It's also so implausible.
It's a 4.
Oh,
I
Wait, but Ruben had his own room.
No, he,
Well,
no,
He
you
did.
I
One,
suspected
he
it.
stayed with Flynn. Two, there's no way he doesn't know where his friends are staying in
All right, fair.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be one thing if this was like you guys just met and like the Greybloods hooked you up together, right? But no.
Oh,
can I perceive before he reacts to that lie?
Can you perceive?
Yeah,
What are you
can
looking
I-
to perceive?
I'm looking to perceive his face and knowing I'm lying.
would that be insight? I don't know.
Insight.
No need.
Oh boy.
Because he punches you in the face. This is in the stairwell of the
Oh.
Happy Sea Dog,
Oh no.
and you take 1 damage.
Okay. I can take a punch.
You can.
Of
Certainly
1 damage.
can. And he pulls you in close, and he says, "If you can't tell, I am far past playing games. Show me to their rooms, please."
All right, buddy, you got me. They're not there.
All right, then we can have some lunch. And he starts bringing you back down the stairs and
fucking hate
sits
this
you
guy.
down at a table.
Terrifying.
And he and his men start ordering food. All right, we will come back to that in just a bit.
Oh my goodness.
The 4 of you, what are you up to?
I want to find good old Jago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to be kind of like trying to perceive the state of the city because I feel like people should be freaked out that a building blew up since that's not a normal occurrence. And like, I don't know, keep an eye out for what people thought happened. Probably a lot of people think it's like a thunder powder thing, but like,
Sure.
I don't know. I want to try to get all the rumors.
Sure, yeah, make a perception check for collecting rumors as you walk through the city here.
Joel would also like to check to see if anybody's following us or paying attention to us.
Good.
Okay.
Ooh,
26.
Damn.
7.
With a 26, you're confident that you're not being followed, and that nobody's giving you much of a glance other than, does that person have a bag on their head? Which you're used to at this point. Okay, you all descend the large roadway that kind of cuts through the center of Keel Hall Heights down to the rest of the cliff top here. Walk around the road that goes out on the outskirts of the Boatleg Market District, in between the Boatleg Market District and the estates. And you begin walking down the roadway, the cobblestone road that leads to the center of the estates where the city plaza can be found. The city plaza is essentially 2 large semicircles of buildings that all face inward into like this circular cobblestone square. You can see in the center of one of those semicircles is a building that has like a large dome-like top to it. It almost looks like a capitol building of some kind with like large stone columns holding up a thick stone roof with like sloping sets of stairs that go up pretty much a whole story before going to the entrance of this building. And as you look at it, you can see behind the structure thin slivers of dwindling smoke billowing up into the sky, the last remnants of Must Manor burning away into the afternoon clouds. As you get closer to the plaza, you can see the streets of the city plaza are bustling with frantic activity, unlike any that you saw the last time you visited here, Raina. There's less people on the streets, but the people who are on the streets all look like they are running around with a purpose. You can see there are multiple carriages being pulled towards the large Capitol-looking building with many armed guards escorting these carriages, and lots of people running around, frantically running up the steps of this building and running into other buildings adjacent to it. Something else you notice with your passive perception, Shoal, is this place is littered with enforcers. You can see that there are squads of 8 at the entrance on either side of the city plaza, and there are multiple patrols of enforcers walking around the circle in the center of the plaza.
We're going to relay that information. But
Okay.
Whispering, so nobody can really hear that we're talking about enforcers.
I'm gonna be splitting off to go do my stuff whenever that makes sense.
Sure.
It just
Yeah, so you probably would have left just a little bit before this, so because you wouldn't have had to go into the center of the estates.
Right.
Shoal, Anna, or Raina, any of you could make an insight check for me. That would be great.
okay.
Can one of us do it with advantage?
Sure. Yeah, or all 3 of you could make an insight check.
Okay.
I got
Oh.
16.
I got a 13.
Anna, with your criminal background, on a 16, it would occur to you that this kind of guard presence, it's almost impossible that your group, given the notoriety that you have learned is associated with some of your members, it's almost impossible that your group gets through this crowd without being spotted, just due to the high guard presence. So you would have to do something to disguise your approach to the city plaza if you were going to try and get in and get out without drawing any attention.
I
mean,
this is a stretch, but are there any like clotheslines or like is there any residential? I don't know.
I mean, you did pay for 3 sets of incognito clothes to be made for you. They're supposed to be ready today.
Oh,
You could
I
go pick
guess
those
we
up.
could, yeah,
we better
take
do that.
the extra hour to go out of the way to get them. That's what I was wondering if we should have done
Yeah.
that first, but
Well,
annoying.
it's fine. It's probably worth it.
Yeah.
We
All right.
agree.
Okay. So it's only about like a 20-minute diversion to walk over to Midtown Cross to pick those
Okay.
up.
Cool.
It does cost 25 gold each.
Did we didn't already pay for them, did we? I thought we had when
You,
like when
you
we
paid
went.
40 gold in advance
I thought we had
for the
paid.
whole group, but you
I thought-
didn't prepay for.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought we had done that when we got Flynn's clothing, and it was just like, okay, his is already done, but like here's for ours. But
Oh,
Okay.
you may have. Let me get back to you.
I
on that
want
before
to
you.
I want to say we did that, but I could be completely wrong. And
Yeah.
you know,
I will check. I don't have that in my
Yeah, I
notes, but
can't
I will
remember.
check and let you know. But your clothing is ready. And Maeve is delighted to see you all here to pick it up. She offers up her dressing room for you all to change if you're interested in changing immediately.
Shoal's like, get me out of this
Shoal's
bag.
like, get this bag off my head.
after we change,
We'll go up to Maeve, right? That's what you said her name is? All right, Maeve, and
this bag has served us well. Would you like it?
She looks at the bag, looks up at you, and after a long, drawn-out pause, says, "Sure," and just reaches out and takes it.
Wow.
And you see her kind of look at it confused, and then go put it on a shelf behind the desk in the back.
Behind that interaction, behind Shoal's back, Anna's just gonna be like,
Now we have your clothes, and you have our clothes.
now
We
we're
are real friends.
Okay, great. Well, if you need any more clothes, feel free to come back.
can
Can we also have Reuben's? He's not here right now, but we would love to give it to him.
Sure, yeah, that's no problem. And she goes into the back and brings out this nice little box that has Ruben's clothes in it as well.
Anna's putting her clothes on as well.
Yeah, for sure.
she'll take Rubens and put in the urn.
Okay.
Great. Back to our original plan.
Meanwhile, Ruben,
Oh dear.
you sit in between the owl, Stuffkid, and the poppet as Brannick sits across from you in the bar. All three of them are tearing into these large legs of mutton. And Brannick has like a plate of duck eggs and succotash in front of him. And as he's chewing, he just kind of pushes the plate towards you. And he's like, "Do you want some?"
Eat up. You look hungry.
You know, I didn't eat this morning before I came to stake this place out. So, yeah, I'm starved.
Big mistake. Gotta eat breakfast.
I know, but you know, sometimes the job calls and I needed my sleep. You guys were out so late last night. So tell me, what happened?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. You see, I was kind of hoping we could have this conversation anyway. You see, it was the weirdest thing. We killed the wolfen, right? Killed it
You
dead.
did.
Yeah, we crushed it. We absolutely did exactly what we were supposed to. Delivered the note and everything. And then guess what happened?
Well, the house exploded.
Yeah, I know, right? How could you be mad at us for that? You know, we didn't.
I'd like to know how.
I would like to know how too. I definitely would love to know how. I don't really understand it really, but I'll tell you this: that asshole, he was doing magic. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Maybe you can start answering questions. Did you guys know that they were practicing magic when you put us in there?
Oh, I didn't have any of the details to what you all were doing. That's a bit above my pay grade, but you're saying that the Lord Must was doing magic in the mansion?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, do you understand why maybe we are a bit wary of you then, putting us in a situation of danger like that?
I mean, you should have been wary from the start. He leans in really close, like, you know who we are.
Yeah. And I kind of want to understand why you're following us. We did what we were supposed to do.
Well, you know, your new contractors is kind of a mystery element. We like to know who we're getting in bed with. You know, clearing out some tunnels under a brewery doesn't really qualify you to be contractors with carte blanche trust in every arena. We wanted to see how you performed and make sure you didn't put us in any uncomfortable situations.
And how exactly did we perform?
Well, I'm not one to judge, but it seems like what happened last night was a little overkill. But the reality is, I saw what happened, how the mansion came down, and I'm not the only one, right? I saw at least 5, 6 guards run off into the night, and sometime in the next 3 days, this whole city is going to be talking about what happened at that mansion.
And think that we told the guards about your whole operation. Is that it?
It's not so much that. It's more the tentacles that shot up into the sky.
They're tendrils.
I don't know what you're talking about. They look like tentacles to me.
They didn't have suckers, so
he says,
use my forward question, but I have to understand why you are keeping me hostage right now.
Listen, it's very important that the Lord of the Greybloods knows what happened in there before anyone else does. Okay, that is highly valuable information. So we're gonna guard it. We're gonna guard it well.
Well, it's not like we're running around running our mouths, and
I don't think you can attest to that. You have 4 missing friends.
the funny thing is, he's literally talking to the only person that knows exactly what happens from beginning to end. Everybody else is like, I have pieces.
Yeah.
Well,
Foolish.
It seems that you'll never believe me no matter what I tell you. You're just going to keep me here. And
well, it's not about what I believe. I'm just a grunt in this operation. I go where I'm pointed and I throw my dagger where it's due. But
can we paint a picture real quick? Where am I? Am I stuck in a corner right now?
Yeah, you're essentially in a chair in like a rectangular table, and there are the 2 other Greybloods are sitting on either side of you with a wall at your back. And Brannick is sitting kind of facing the rest of the room, or his back to the rest of the room, talking directly to you. Okay.
I want to do something crazy.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Well, let me know. Otherwise, we'll return to our other party members here.
No, I'm just gonna sit here.
You can do crazy. Okay.
No, every time I do something crazy, I die.
Oh boy.
Okay. The 3 of you get back to City Plaza. And with your new incognito outfits on, are able to make your way through into the City Plaza proper. Raina, go ahead and make another perception check for me.
Okay. I also want to know, does Toraigh have like a newspaper or anything?
No.
Okay. I feel like I've asked that before.
They have a town crier.
Yeah, no town crier or newspaper.
Extra, read all about it.
It is
Toraigh
is very much a rumor mill, more than
Must
anything else.
mansion explodes.
I got a 10.
On a 10, you can tell that everybody is on high alert here. You can't really get the nature of why specifically. You don't get to hear specific conversations. But it sounds like essentially the events of the night before have increased the amount of work that needs to be done on this day.
I would like to inform Shoal and Anna that I'm paying attention for these things, and that we all should, so that perhaps next time one of us with better perception can roll, or we can do it with advantage next time.
Why didn't you say so?
Roll
We should be paying attention.
19.
Okay. On a 19, Shoal, you pick up a conversation between a kind of tall, live rabbit stuffkin and a toy soldier that are both kind of hustling towards the large set of stairs that go up to this kind of Capitol building, which you assume is like the town hall. And they say, Tracy, there's no way the special election is going to be held this week. It has to be next week. You understand that the amount of political handshakes and agreements that have to go through between all of the different assemblymen in the guilds before any type of vote can happen? I mean, there's the amount of paperwork is insane. You also hear a carriage going by that's being pulled by what looks to be like 4 armed guards. And you can't see who is saying it, but you hear somebody inside saying, I know the Golden Grin have someone they'd be very interested to be in this election. And that's what you pick up on a 19.
There's a lot of talk about the election, about whether or not they should have it this week or next week. It seems that the Golden Grin have people in mind, or have someone in mind, and there's a lot of handshaking and paper pushing that needs to happen before then.
Shoal also wants to see if they're doing anything special to ascend like the steps to where we're trying to go. That's where they're going, right? Like,
yeah.
Going, yeah.
On a 19 perception check, you don't see anything special down here, but you can tell that there is some type of line up at the top of the building, and it looks like there are armed guards up there that are essentially talking to people and ushering them through into the building.
We also need to be careful when we're going in the building. There's people asking questions. Guards.
Well, I mean, the good thing at least is I can say that I have a meeting with Jago, which isn't a lie, because I do. So maybe us having an appointment will make it easier and more legitimate for us to get in there.
I would sure think so.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned. Not that I think we're going to need them inside, but they're probably going to have us leave our weapons at the door. I don't know. Should we stash them somewhere? Oh, yeah. For you, that's easy, but...
You have a bow, sir.
Yeah.
We can leave the bow, but we still have our darts.
Shoal will like pop one out of their hand, just like a little bit, so like the tip is showing.
Would the bow fit in the urn?
I don't think the bow would fit in the urn, no.
Okay.
Just because the opening is too small to put it in without kind of compressing the bow too much.
Hey, what would it take to make the urn a bag of holding? It's like us shoving things infinitely into this.
Let me tell you, if you're afraid of magic, it might not be the thing for you.
Also, considering Shoal sleeps there, like when they're not in the ground.
Oh yeah, you die. Never mind.
Okay. You know what?
I retract my statement.
Also, I can make it a bag. That's something I could do. Theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
Do we... No, that wouldn't work. I was going to ask if we still had the enforcers' uniforms, if like one of us could put them on and like walk in with weapons, like, hello, sirs. But
actually, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I think Anna, you would know based on the instructions you've been given that that Jago Martin is actually in the town clerk's office, which is not the town hall.
Oh. Well, okay.
Well, heck, I guess
there's a lot of activity going on there, but it's not where you were headed.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter either way, but if we're like going through the area and they try to question us, at least we can say we have an appointment. Can we please move forward?
That makes sense.
Yeah, so you can see To the left-hand side of this large kind of gray stone building, there is a smaller, a little bit more rundown looking brown wooden building that looks to be about 2 stories tall with kind of like a stone foundation that goes up about 5 feet. And there is a big sign over the double doors to it that says town clerk's office. And there doesn't seem to be a ton of people going in and out of there. But it's right next door. So you're able to head inside.
Okay. Also, I apologize if I get choppy or it goes slow because I'm realizing I forgot that my parents have really, really, really bad internet.
Oh, that's good.
And
so
my
far.
computer is chugging.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I'm like having to really hold on to what you guys are saying because they'll be talking and then it'll robot and then it'll go really quick and I'm just like, did I get everything? Cool. Moving on. But okay, then Anna will head over towards that building and try to find Jago.
Okay. Going inside the double doors, you walk into what appears to be some kind of waiting room. You can see there are 2 benches on either side of the double doors, and there is like a large kind of teller's desk that takes up the entire wall facing the doors. It has metal bars installed that go all the way down to just above the countertop. And behind it, you can see kind of dimly lit through the window of the teller's desk. You can see just rows and rows and rows of shelves filled with papers and books, haphazard stacks of papers on carts and things of that nature. And there doesn't appear to be anybody there at the moment, but there is like a bell on the countertop.
Also, can you remind me what the woman I got the information's name was again? I don't have my notes.
Edith Willoughby.
Willoughby. Okay, Edith Willoughby. Okay, cool. So Anna will go up to the desk and tap the bell.
Okay. A shrill ding kind of echoes out through the space. And Troll kind of vibrates a little bit.
Oh dear.
And you hear and you hear a large thud. And about like 3 rows back in the bookshelves, a bunch of papers just be seen flying up into the air. And then a very, very short turtle stuffkin pokes their head up from behind the countertop, and they have like a piece of paper still attached to the back of their head, and they look rather old but very lively for their age. They have kind of sunken wrinkles underneath their eyes and like crow's feet, and they have these very small kind of half moon spectacles on their nose, and they poke their head up and they go, oh, yes, how can I help you?
Hello, I am looking for Jago Martin. Are you
yes.
Jago?
Yes, I am he.
Hi, I was told that by Edith Willoughby that I would be able to set up a meeting with you and have a conversation.
Yes, I spoke. I spoke to a representative of Grandma Willoughby. Yes. When would you like to meet?
Are you free now?
Today is not great. Today is not great. I don't know if you heard, but a House Assemblyman and his entire family killed last night.
Oh, can you give us just a little minute? And Raina's gonna kind of try to turn to Anna and Shoal and like huddle and just be like, maybe we can tell him just a little bit about what we know as a trade, and then he'll meet with us. What do you think?
No. No. We think that we should be not arouse suspicion.
Okay. Rhino will
We
do
are
that.
scared. There's a lot of guards.
As you turn back, he says, I'm in the process of, I have to move all of the city's accounts and requisitions that were going through Lord Must's trading company by the end of day. And so I have a lot of records that have to be transferred to the city hall imminently. So I can talk, but we need to walk and talk. Could we walk and talk?
Yeah. Can we help?
I'm completely. Yeah, we can definitely help you if you need help. I don't know.
No offense, but there's a very complicated system of categorization that is used to organize all of this information. And I think in the time it would take to explain it to you, you could just come back tomorrow and we could talk.
Oh, you could just hand us stuff and we could carry it for you.
So that would be great. That would be great. And then his head disappears behind the countertop, and a door next to the countertop, you hear some keys open up, and the door opens, and this little 3.5 foot tall turtle stuffed kid comes out and says, oh, okay, come with me.
Away we go.
I muted myself. Following him into the space, he pulls out a cart that is empty, and he begins just walking down one of the rows, and he kind of pushes it to one of you to push. And
Anna will gladly grab it and push it.
Okay. And he just starts walking and talking. And as he's walking, he's pulling out like folios and things like that, opening them up, sifting through a bunch of documents, grabbing some, and just slapping them onto the cart, and then continuing to walk. And as he does so, he just says, I'm really sorry about this. We don't normally get a lot of files requisitions in a singular day, but something like this hasn't happened in quite a long time, so there's a lot to do. And so what's the nature of your inquiry? And then he slaps a huge book onto the cart.
Joel would like to pick up the big book.
Sure.
Just look through it for pictures.
Yeah, there are no pictures. It appears to be some type of graph, pages and pages of this graph, but Joel can't read, so.
Raina will look over her shoulder and see if it's anything intelligible to her, but she's probably not a great chart interpreter.
Sure, yeah, make an investigation check.
Oh boy.
You did this to yourself.
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious. A 4.
And you remain curious.
With a 4 investigation check,
you killed a cat.
You can get a look at the cover, and you can see that this is some type of shipment ledger. But you can't see any of the details. Shoal's flipping through too fast because they aren't actually reading or looking at anything.
This stuff looks complicated.
Well, I was wondering if you had any information or knew of what had happened around the incident at Olnwick about 25 years ago.
As you're kind of walking behind him, you see him kind of stop in place, and he lets out a bit of a sigh, and he turns around and he's like, I don't mean to be offensive, but a lot of times we have citizens come to us that are under the impression that this is a library. This is simply not a library. This is a storage of historical records and financial records and legal records that are important to the city. And so we may not have any of the records that pertain to any specific histories that you're looking for, but if you're interested in how those histories impacted the city of Toraigh, I may be able to help. What is the event that you're looking into that happened 25 years ago?
I guess the city of Olnwick was essentially destroyed, I think.
The city of Olnwick.
Uh-huh.
Olnwick.
It's
25
she's going
years
to
ago?
say, however many miles away it is from Toraigh. She's gonna be like, yeah, it's around this region. Like, yeah, about 25 years ago, there was something that happened, and I'm
Okay.
trying to get more information about the specifics of it.
Well, okay. I don't know much about the town, the village. Let me hold on one second. And he goes scurrying off, and you see there is like a little hole in the stone floor that it looks like it's like a small circular staircase. And they pitter patter run over to the staircase and run down it real quick. And you hear some very loud shuffling and what sounds like things falling over. Briefly before he comes back up with a large book. And he is flipping through it and says, okay, Alnwick, yes. Alnwick, we have shipping records for Alnwick that go back up until 25 years. What exactly happened? It wouldn't be here. It would be, and then he goes to another shelf and starts shuffling through papers, and he's picking all the papers out and piling them on the top of the shelf, up like a little ladder, and then comes back down and says, so there was a motion made, and he's holding a large kind of scroll-looking piece of paper. There was a motion made 25 years ago by Lord Reginald Rhodes, that's the father of Francine Rhodes, she's a current House Assemblywoman, and Sir Thomas Whetstone. They placed a motion asking that that taxes on terrestrial imports be reduced by 3% to account for the raising of the village of Alnwick. So the village was raised 25 years ago. Aren't records
What
interesting?
do you mean, right? Oh, like
That makes it
raised,
sound
like-
like it was intentionally demolished.
And he starts flipping through, and
we're not under the impression it was intentional, but maybe you are.
It's not clear from the session notes whether or not there was any information about it being intentional. It looks like communication with the village ended, and then reports came that the village had been destroyed. The entire city reduced to rubble and ash. And there's a small speech written here from Lord Rhodes. He doesn't appear to know why.
Is there anybody, this is a long shot, but do you know anyone in town who's like from that area?
From the village of Alnwick.
Or like the surrounding
the
towns?
surrounding area that's
we don't really we don't do a lot of census surveying. We don't really keep too detailed records on the citizenry. There's so much travel coming through the city. It's just kind of just impractical for the city to conduct things like that. So we wouldn't really have that kind of information. But if you're looking for details on recorded shipments in and out, those are things that we have. We have records about laws that have been passed. We have records about, different decrees and requisitions that the city or certain House Assemblymen have made. Is there any other information you have about the event?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think of what information would be helpful in your efforts to help us. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have information, but I don't know if any of that would be helpful to you.
Well, if you know of anybody who might have shipped something to the town, or somebody who might have sent shipments from the town, if you're looking to know tradespeople that might have recently gone to the town, things of that nature, I can certainly look that up for you.
Oh, the old faith.
The old faith.
Do they have records of like the old faith or enforcers? I mean, I don't know if this is the hub where enforcers come from and then go outward to the different towns, but is there any activity as far as like why there were enforcers in town, or why the
that is actually something I can tell you. Just give me 1 second. And he starts running down the full extent of the row that you were in to the back of the building, and then turns to the right. And as he's running, you can hear him say, "We keep a record of all enforcer expeditions because they have to be expensed in kind by the city and approved by the house." And he comes back with this gigantic book that's like thicker on its binding than it is the length of the pages. And you can hear him very out of breath come back and plops it onto the cart, pulls a stool out from underneath one of the shelves and goes up the stool to get on top of it and starts slipping through it. And he says, "Yes, okay. So, 25 years ago would have been," and he starts flipping through. No. So we don't have any record of any enforcer expeditions that were approved to the village of Alnwick.
Do you have any records of any? This might be a big question to ask you, but did any of the trade change from its routine around this time? Is there anything you can see that would have gone in that didn't usually, or come out that didn't usually?
Well, let's just check. Let me just check the ledgers again. And he goes back to the original document that he was looking through, and he says, "You mentioned the Old Faith, right?
Mhm. Yes.
I see here that a requisition was made by the Old Faith that the city of Toraigh restore supplies of an Old Faith caravan." And he flips a few pages and pulls out another sheet of paper that's in like a folder pocket, and says, "An Old Faith caravan that was waiting in Alnwick before pursuing a lead further west," according to, I have a note here from an Artem Larionovich. And
Can you put that name in our chat? Thank you.
What a name.
Yeah.
Taylor, make an insight check for me.
I'm gonna learn nothing.
Now, this is a very high DC roll. I'm going to tell you right now. This is a small chance of success, but let's see.
Were you trying to highlight it and it just duplicated it? I hate when that.
I got an 8.
That's exactly what happened.
Weird name.
Oh, maybe we should ask.
That was, I got, you said it was a high one, so I wouldn't have had a chance, or it was really easy and I just fucked it up.
No, I was saying that it was a very slim chance, but there was a small chance of you getting these. There's something there, but you don't.
And
maybe Ruben would recognize the name?
Artem, yeah. Larionovich was one of the Old Faith, sorry, or were they the one that was being pursued?
Yes, it's signed here that he's the expedition leader. It looks like a lieutenant commander within the Old Faith.
Okay.
This name wouldn't sound familiar to me, would it?
No, I don't think it would.
Okay.
Okay. And are there records of who was on that expedition with him?
No, all I have here is just the written notice from Lieutenant Commander Larionovich himself. There aren't any details on the nature of the expedition. It reads from here like they set out from Karnak, and there's no information on how large their group was or where they were headed. But it does look like they were pursuing a lead further west and were looking for supplies before they went any further.
And it doesn't say, there's no, is there a record of like I don't know who or what they may have been pursuing.
Not in this note, but that's pretty customary for the Old Faith. Doesn't really disclose a lot about their business to city officials. They just come through and demand supplies. That's pretty common.
How much supplies did they demand? Just out of curiosity, since there's no note about how big the group was, maybe that can give us a little bit of a hint.
Yeah, it was about 3 caravans worth of food and water skins, as well as camping supplies, lumber, things of that nature.
Sheesh.
So either is a very large group, or they were planning on traveling for a long time. I don't really know. I don't do too much traveling. I've worked here for 45 years, so.
Do you know if this gentleman's still alive, or if he's? I mean, if he was just passing through, it's not like he's from Toraigh.
Or were there records of what happened, like if the caravan was there when Alnwick was raised, or if they moved on? Like, would there be anything of that? Like,
that's a good question. That is a good question. And he flips through a bit further and he says, actually, I can see here that the caravan was sent and the village was destroyed at the time, and the Old Faith were not there. And so the supplies were never delivered. It looks like they returned to Toraigh several weeks later.
That seems a little fishy to me.
So they never made it to Alnwick before it was destroyed and just
no, the caravan of additional supplies, that's the Old Faith. It seems they were waiting there for the supplies before they went any further, and then the village was destroyed before the caravan arrived.
But did the Old Faith come back through town?
I don't have any records indicating that here.
I might be reading this wrong, like as a player, but it kind of sounds to me like they were not in the town on purpose, like they might have known something was going to happen. Am I just looking for threads too much?
No, I think given what Ruben has disclosed so far about the events, I think it would indicate to Reyna that a lot of the Old Faith were involved in the incident and are now deceased. And so there weren't any Old Faith to deliver the supplies to because they had been killed.
Okay.
He said that the Old Faith returned to Toraigh, correct? That there were people.
The caravan of supplies returned to Toraigh without delivering anything.
Okay, that's where I was getting confused. Okay, so there wouldn't be any record of like anyone that was still alive within the Old Faith, anything like that.
No, that type of information is going to be held pretty close to the vest by the Old Faith themselves, if they even keep that information. I don't really know. But no, we don't keep any information like that here.
Maybe that's something we ought to ask Rochester about.
Maybe.
Lieutenant Rochester. Reyna's just gonna hand wave that one. She's not aware in the same way that I'm not.
I guess.
Make an insight check for me.
Okay.
At least you didn't say Veo.
It's true.
I think it might be worse than Veo.
Maybe.
Could be. You don't know.
Shoal wants to do an insight check too.
Okay.
Oh no! Did I get anything for my 7?
No, you don't get anything from your 7. This seems like a pretty forthcoming and friendly gentleman.
Okay, I guess
distracted by a passing fly.
Yeah,
the only other questions I guess were what was you said that you also had records of like decrees and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot what the other one. You said shipments. What do you, I mean, I guess was there any like specific decrees or thing that were happening right around the time before, or we already asked about the shipment thing, right? I think yes.
Yeah, no, there's not too much. To be honest, the village of Alnwick is a pretty unremarkable location. I mean, it's pretty obvious from the motion that Lord Rhodes and Sir Thomas Whetstone made that, it only accounted for a small fraction of the imports that the city received. I doubt anybody in Tory really even noticed that the village of Alnwick was gone.
What was it that was being imported from Alnwick?
It looks like mostly like standard crops, some barley and wheat. There are a couple of different vineyards in the area near Alnwick that it looks like Alnwick would ship their wines. Do
you know what they were called? Just in the interest of being real thorough.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. He says, yes, there is a small vineyard that was near the village of Alnwick called the Nodding Compass Vineyards. And it looks like that's a lot of what the city received.
Gotcha.
Are the Congress people or representatives, are they still alive?
Lord Reginald Rhodes is not alive. He's deceased. But Lady Francine Rhodes is still a House Assemblywoman. And Sir Thomas Whetstone, I believe, is still alive.
And sorry, I don't understand how that kind of stuff works. Are they the ones who directly oversaw Alnwick? Or represented Alnwick?
No, the city of Tory doesn't have any authority over Alnwick. It just has authority over trade coming in and out of the city from anywhere it might be coming from. And the village of Alnwick is one of those locations that we keep track of imports from and tax accordingly.
I understand. I know you had said like this is a place of like public record, not a library, like you had said. Would you know of anyone else who may have that kind of historical information, not necessarily the oh god, what is the word I'm looking for? Like not the shipping information or anything like that, but anyone else who would know like more specific, or am I just kind of shooting in the dark here?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh god.
Can Raina?
Oh
no! Oh, never mind. I was gonna try to come
natural
up with
20, which is perfect because my charisma is a 0.
Very cool.
Nice.
So you can tell that
this is the only natural 20 I'll ever get.
You can tell that Jago has gotten very kind of caught up, and this is probably the longest he's ever talked to anybody about records in this place. And he seems to be really enjoying your company. And as you ask him that, he says, well, let me tell you, I don't think that it's any stretch to say that the citizens of Tory aren't necessarily the most educated or well-read people in Dovquain. There aren't a lot of written records of pretty much anything. This is pretty much all the written records that you might find. It's really, the histories are really going to be held by people. They're going to be like oral tradition from some of the less intelligent citizens. And you didn't hear this from me, but those who may have heard of an organization known as the Mungers would know that they are the Journeyman's Guild, and so they send armed guards with most shipments that go in and out of the city of Tory across the country of Dovquain, and so they would probably be the ones who would know this information. But I have to be honest, I want nothing to do with them, and I don't know anybody who you might speak to about that. And you didn't even hear me mention their names, okay?
Understood.
Raina is gonna pull.
Okay.
Raina would like to pull one of the flowers that grows in her hair kind of out and give it to him and say, "That is mighty sweet of you to go out on a limb and share with us. We really appreciate the help."
He gets all kind of glassy-eyed as he takes it. He's like, "Oh," and he tucks it in between the his glasses so that it kind of gets pinned to his head. And he says, "This is a nice change in pace from the smell of all this paper." And he says, "Well, I really have to get back to compiling all this information. So if there's anything else that you need, could you come back later? No offense."
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for taking up your time. You seem to be very busy, but thank you so much for the information that you could give us.
No problem at all. Thanks for your interest. And he begins to kind of usher you out the door.
We have questions, and we are. I am one of the less intelligent folk that you were talking about earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean any offense.
It's okay. We don't know how to read, but we have questions. If we help you, you said you could use help pushing stuff. We could push stuff and move stuff around. If we do that, would you be able to answer some of our questions? My questions?
Sure. Yeah. Let's keep going. And he keeps on walking, and goes back to his work of pulling things out of shelves and restacking them on the cart. And says, "What are your questions?"
We're gonna turn to Raina and Anna and say,
should we meet you back at the Happy Sea Dog? We have questions. We have lots of questions.
I'm a little nervous about splitting up. Maybe we ought to just like hang out in the city right outside the building and listen for more, hearsay about what's going on.
Okay. We just don't want Jago to be overwhelmed. We'll be as quick as we can. I will be as quick as I can.
If you are being deceptive, I would like you to make a deception check, Jake.
Raina will say very covertly to Anna, "Is he trying to get rid of us?"
2.
Oh, I'll insight check then.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's for talking to Jago.
Oh, okay.
Well, I got a 1, so I believe that you also are very just a 20 and a 1 back to back. Damn.
A 14.
Anna's like, when did Shoal become singular? That's crazy.
So on a 2 deception check, you can see that Jago seems a little wary of the idea that you want to stick around, especially if your friends are going to be leaving.
So to be clear, Shoal genuinely wants to help and ask questions. The thing they're being shady about is the fact that they're, trying not to be a hive.
No, I know.
Okay,
what I'm saying is that is putting them off.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Raina on a 14, you get the sense that Shoal is trying to get rid of you.
Okay. She'll wait till her and Anna are away a little bit to say something about it.
So you tell Shoal that you'll wait outside, essentially?
Yeah. We're not going to go far. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and Jago continues pushing his cart and says, what would you like to know?
Jago, Can we trust you? Are you a friend?
Whoa, that's an interesting question. I don't really have any friends. Do you want to be my friend?
We would love to be your friend.
Really?
You are very nice and helpful.
That would be great. I wish you could read, though.
Well, that's one of our questions.
It's just I don't think we have a lot of common.
Well, you seem very smart and literate. We are not. Do you have any tips on how we can learn to be literate?
Well, were your parents literate?
We are friends, right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Shill's gonna remove the head garb.
He goes, "Oh!"
You're out of season.
He immediately is like, get out, and begins kind of like moving you out of the record room.
But that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Oh no.
But he is kind of like fruitlessly pushing through. He's just like, these pages are very delicate. Okay, we can't have insects in the records room.
We are covered. We are covered. There will be no insects. Nothing. None of us will leak out. We promise. On our friendship.
Make a persuasion check.
Or
Ooh.
I really appreciate that, but the reality is I just met you today and I don't know you. And so if we can just continue this conversation about a potential friendship outside, I would be happy to do that. We have a lobby, there's comfortable benches. Would you like to sit on a bench? I can sit on a bench with you.
Would it be?
Let's go.
Would it be better if we just were in the urn? So we can't touch anything?
Can you
So
do
you
that?
can continue working? Yes. What?
and we'll just hop into the urn with our head poking out.
Okay. Yeah, so you don't have any parents. I don't really know. Most people get taught how to read by acquaintances and other knowledgeable folk. We don't really have any scholars in the city.
But do you have advice? Do you know how to teach?
I guess I could teach you. I'm very busy though, so it would have to be outside of work hours. And yeah, I could maybe meet once a week and we could do lessons.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that would be great.
Okay.
And what's your name?
You can call us Shoal.
Shoal. Nice to meet you, Shoal. I'm Jago Martin.
Jago Martin. You seem to be like a very good person. We really appreciate your friendship. We are sorry that we got you nervous about the books.
That's okay. It's just been a very stressful day. Next time we can meet someplace else where there's no paper. Yeah.
Where do you want to meet?
Have you ever heard of the Ye Old Cup Inn?
Have we?
No.
We have not.
It's a very nice bar and restaurant. It's right across the street. It's right across the city plaza. I could meet there. I could meet you there after work. Let's say every Friday.
What time?
But it's around sundown.
Sundown? Okay. Is there anything we can bring for you in return for your help? Would we buy dinner? Would we?
That would be great. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, but I really need to get back to pulling up these records.
We understand.
Okay, great. All right. Well, you have a great day. It was so great meeting you.
It was great meeting you. Bye, Jago.
Bye, and they hustle off down the rows of bookshelves and
I know
records.
based on my luck, it may not pan out, but when we get outside, Anna's going to try to see if there are any little urchin children around. And if so, she is going to bring or like write out a little note and like pass it along to Willoughby.
Taking a look around, there aren't really any children around here.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
It doesn't look like this is a highly residential area.
And I will hold that until we're in the space where we can.
It also seems like a lot of the foot traffic has decreased to like essential workers only because of the events of the day.
Okay, then I'll when we pass through wherever, if there are more common people, I will attempt to do that.
Okay.
Would Anna perhaps like to aid in Reyna perceiving the chit-chat around town while we wait?
I can try.
Can I advantage roll?
Yeah, make a roll with advantage.
All right. Perception.
Anna cups Reina's ears.
Yeah, right. A 14 total.
On a 14, you don't hear too much more beyond the general discussion that you were hearing before. What you do hear is a lot of people who aren't talking about like actual city hall business are mostly casually talking about why they think that the attack on Must Mansion was the Mungers or why they think it was the Greybloods.
What were the reasons?
What were the reasons for the Greybloods?
So most of them are essentially just speculating that the fact that thunder powder was used makes it obvious that somebody's trying to implicate the Golden Grin, which means it can't be the Golden Grin, and so then they're just kind of positing their own reasons why they think it's one or the other.
Okay. It's not educated, it's just conspiracy theory.
No, I mean, some people are saying that they think it's because the Mungers work with the Must Trading Company, but other people are just saying it's the Greybloods because the Greybloods are killers.
Gotcha.
The Must Trading Company. They would have had Jago would have had records about what they were up to. Next meeting.
Can always go back in. We're still here.
No, he's very busy.
Lock the doors
comes
behind
out of the town clerk's office.
All set?
Yes. Where to now?
I guess we ought to head
Actually, how far would it be to that weird, creepy toy shop?
It would be a small diversion from your path. You would essentially just, instead of going around the boat-like markets, you would have to walk through it to the opposite side that's by the wall and then head to Keel Hall Heights. So it'd be like an extra 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
I feel like that might be a worthwhile diversion. Although,
yeah,
Ruben's having the most awkward long lunch of his life.
I was about to go back.
We don't know that.
I was about to go back to Ruben just for comedic effect.
Don't let that worry you because I know about it.
He's fine.
I can't wait till they get to the fact that they're like, we all are together. They're like, oh, let's bring you to Veo. They bring us to Veo, and then Ruben does all the talking anyway, so they didn't even need the rest of us.
Oh well.
I guess, yeah, I'll try to do that. Go to that toy shop and see if I can actually just talk to Willoughby myself.
Where are we going?
To a magical place that you will love.
We are having such an exciting day.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the Happy Sea Dog Inn, There are 3 plates with mutton legs, completely chewed off mutton legs, and Brannick is sitting there spinning his dagger on the table, and he's like, "So what are they gonna be all day?" And we cut back to the group, and
So much time to work on his whittling.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, so it takes some time meandering through the busy streets of the market district, but you do eventually get to this kind of muddy alleyway that is right next to the wall on the outskirts of the Boatleg Market District. And you see the small little shack with a little porthole window and the roughly painted sign that says Willoughby's Bargain Playthings.
All right. I will, I guess, go in and see if Willoughby is willing to divulge more information.
Okay. There's a little tring as you walk through the door, and Raina and Shoal, you see this place for the first time. It's a very claustrophobic and kind of tight, like, almost a little bigger than it's like a double-sized porta potty, with shelves on either side filled with toys and a circular little barrel that has toys on top of it in the center, and a small countertop, and behind it you see little old Edith Willoughby, and she looks up, and it looks like she's doing some type of knitting, and she says, "Oh, hello. I see you brought some friends."
I did. I was wondering if you could help me out a little bit more, and we can peruse some more toys for my friend.
Hello.
Sure. Are you satisfied with the services you've received so far?
Oh, yes, of course.
Are you the one that made the slap in the box?
I did.
We didn't like that toy.
Oh,
But we liked all the others.
We did like all the others.
So
Well-
clearly I am not the good pick. So you can pick the toys this time.
Okay. Joe will start
Looking at whatever toys are around,
sure.
just like looking around and playing with them.
Well, I believe we just fulfilled our services today. You require more?
Yes, I was trying to, I did very much appreciate the services of today, and they were helpful in some aspects. But I was just wondering if you knew of, the problem is I feel like I'm too dumb to understand how to properly this is Taylor talking, not Anna talking. I'm like, I don't really know what information is useful to get what I want to know out of anything. So I'm just like, what do I even ask her?
Well, if you want, you can also just tell me what it is that you're looking to learn.
I mean, again, it's more just trying to like, so Jago was saying that it was the Mungers that would know more about like the trade stuff, but would they also know about the history stuff, like what was going on within the town leading up to or whatever?
So the reason why they might know that is because any like trade caravans that went to the village of Alnwick from the city of Toraigh probably had Munger journeymen escorting the trade caravan to protect it. And so
Gotcha.
any first-hand accounts of what it might have been going on in the village on like a monthly basis back before it was destroyed, probably known by some very old Munger journeymen who are now retired.
Gotcha. So I guess then it would be trying to find out who those people are and how to contact them
Mm-hmm.
to get more of that information, I guess.
Okay. And so is that what you ask, Edith?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Roll a persuasion check with disadvantage, please.
Oh, why disadvantage?
We'll find out.
Because she doesn't
maybe.
know. Does she not know the Mungers? Is that why? Is she direct competition with them?
Let's see the roll.
Sorry, what was it? What was it?
Persuasion.
Persuasion? Oh God, this is gonna be garbage.
I guess that
didn't register at all. Cool.
Insight check Edith based on what happens?
Sure.
Okay.
13. Oh, sorry, that was disadvantage. Let me do that again.
Yeah.
Roll higher. Nope. Fuck. Great. I'm shit. Cool. Great.
The moment that you mention the word Mungers, you see Edith Willoughby's eyes go wide, and then she interrupts you and says, "We're closed. We're going on lunch.
Ooh.
And have a great day. And don't think I don't know who you are." And she slams the curtain behind her with a big shink and goes into the back room and comes out a few seconds later with like a little tied up kerchief bag. And she goes, out! And she begins walking up and shoving you and gesturing for you all to leave the establishment.
Is Edith's toy?
Yes.
Right.
I don't remember. Okay.
Yep.
So, can I insight check her?
Mm-hmm.
Not that I have great insight, but well, I got a 5.
This woman's having a late lunch.
Shucks. Well, maybe if we send Ruben back to ask a second time.
I mean, I was joking. I said that, but I think it would be obvious, insight check or no, that obviously bringing up the Mungers is what set her off.
Okay.
Does this mean we're not getting any toys?
Nope. You have enough toys. You have enough.
Can we come back later for toys?
No.
Never?
There are plenty of other places that sell toys.
We don't know any other places. You make the best
Joel, just
toys.
drop it.
Have a look
Joel,
around,
just
then.
drop it. Great, cool. Thanks for your help.
I guess once we get outside,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to. Is anyone around besides us?
To make a perception check, but for the most part, no.
Okay. I just want to covertly say things to Anna and Shoal. I got a 12.
Yeah, you're fairly confident. It's a pretty remote street corner on the outskirts of the Boat Lake Market District, so there's not a ton of foot traffic.
Okay. So I think that maybe we ought to cut ties with the Greybloods and try to infiltrate the Mungers instead. I think they might be a little bit more receptive to our group in the first place, and maybe we can use what little we know that they've been up to as a lead. I'm just not sure how. I know we've been told what part of the city they're kind of active in, but I don't remember.
Yeah, so they are active most in the Boat Lake Market District, pretty much all downtown Toraigh, and then also the docks. The Mungers kind of oversee the Journeyman's Guild and the dock workers. So
the Mungers are the ones that Ruben freaked out about, right?
Correct.
Yes, because Ruben doesn't like monsters.
They're a mixed group.
Wait, Mungers are the mixed group.
They are.
So I think maybe since we don't even, we're not going to like any of these gangs, to be honest. They're all gangs, but maybe since we are particularly not fond of Veo, we sell out everything we know about her to them to try to endear ourselves. Because it sounds like they're the ones who might have the information that would be helpful to us overall.
That doesn't sound like the right thing to do.
Why not?
I mean, at this point, nothing sounds like the right thing to do, and I don't give a fuck about any of these people. And
Well,
clearly,
if we tell them everything we know about the Thieves Guild, what will stop them from thinking we'll tell somebody else about everything we know about them?
Probably nothing, but this is, you know, the impression that I've gotten about this city so far is that nobody's particularly loyal to anybody or anything but coin, I have to say. So
We think we need to
I've
be
gotten that everybody's
fighting
done.
mice.
Yeah.
We need to be.
I mean, our whole theoretically goal is to take down these gangs. That is what, you know, the enforcers kind of in Rochester tasked us to do. So I don't know. I just think that, you know, they seem to have more information that we need. We got to endear ourselves to them somehow. I think maybe because they're a more mixed group, it'll be a little bit obvious to them why we wouldn't necessarily want to work with the Greybloods. Maybe they'll have some sympathy for us.
We don't know that we should tell secrets, though. That's dangerous. That sounds dangerous. Based on what we know in the city, people don't talk a lot. I mean, you just heard what happened when Anna mentioned Mongers. We can't buy toys there anymore.
It's fine, their toys will shit anyway.
I mean,
That's true.
Wait, these toys are shit?
as a player, I feel like all we really know about the Greybloods is like maybe who Veo is, where she hangs out, and that they're trying to influence the vote on the Privateering Act, which is probably fairly obvious information, but that's just a conjecture. I don't know.
Meanwhile,
Okay.
Flynn, I would like you to make.
Hi,
Oh, yeah.
it's me. It's Flynn.
I would like you to make 2 stealth checks for me.
Sure thing.
Oh, you're being sneaky, I see.
Jesus. Okay, I have a question.
I have an answer.
How does my luck thing, interact with advantage rolls?
You get to roll another d20 and choose between. Yeah,
But that one isn't with advantage.
that
It's
one is
just
not with advantage, correct?
D20. Oh my god. Okay.
All right,
Well,
give
I
me a
got a
second
9.
one.
Oh, that should be with advantage. Well, it's a nat 20.
Oh,
Second
Okay.
one got is nat 20. For a 24. My first one is a 9.
Okay. So you travel to Beggar's Bay, the slums district of the city of Toraigh, and without spending too much time on it, you go to the 2 shops that are listed by the Thunder Baron, and they are the Muddy Drape Chemist, and Uppercuts, which appears to be a barbershop.
That's a good name.
Yeah. And you leave your kegs of gregarious grogs on the stoops of both. And I will say on the nat 20 stealth check, as you're leaving the Muddy Drape Chemist, you're able to take a peek inside. And you can see that this is actually a bar.
Okay.
It doesn't appear like there's any like alchemy going on in here. It appears to just be a reference to the type of alcohols that can be found, and you're very confident that no one saw you drop that
How
off.
disappointing. Okay.
And you are able to make your way back to the Happy Sea Dog if that's where you're headed.
I know I didn't have to go back to the Thunder Baron when I was done.
Mm-hmm.
Would I've gotten the impression that they wouldn't want me to come back because that would be like
I don't think you got the impression that they wouldn't want you to come back, but I think you got a very strong impression from your first time there that they would like any of their interactions with folks like you to be profitable and productive. If that makes sense.
okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll go back to the Happy Sea Dog.
Okay. You walk in the Happy Sea Dog and you see at one of the tables.
I would
Ruben.
do so stealthily, to be clear.
Oh, okay.
I know I didn't say it, but like I
Sure.
know I would have known people were around.
Yeah, roll a stealth check.
Okay. Sorry. Should have said that.
I'm gonna say after we did our detour that we also just headed back.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Flynn's errands would be a little shorter than your guys' errands, so he's gonna arrive first. Yeah, on an 18, you stealthily round the corner to the kind of alleyway that leads to the Happy Sea Dog. It doesn't appear like Brannick or his men are out here. And then you duck inside, and as you walk inside, you can see Ruben sitting at a table with the 3 folks that they mentioned were outside earlier this morning, including Brannick.
Okay. So I wasn't with them last night and I'm wearing completely different clothes.
Mm-hmm.
How recognizable would I be to Brannick?
So
He's not even facing you either.
So you have essentially a cowl that you can pull out of the collar of your surcoat. So if you have that out with your stealth check, you could be pretty confident that you wouldn't be recognized.
Okay.
If you weren't wearing the cowl, though, then they would be able to see you if they saw your face. They would be able to recognize you if they saw your face.
Right. I think I would be.
Okay.
Okay. I would like to just sit down, kind of out of sight, but in earshot, to kind of keep tabs on what's going on.
Okay.
As possible as that is in this tiny.
Yeah. So I would say that you probably would know that like prolonged exposure to them, stealthy or not stealthy, would eventually lead to them recognizing you, or at least wanting to investigate who you were.
Right.
So I don't think you would feel confident you could stay in the bar room with them for much longer than like a few minutes, without them looking into you.
Okay. I'll sit down with them.
Okay. As you sit down, Brannick kind of looks up, looks at you, and says, oh, "Finally, one returns. We've been waiting so long."
Yeah. What is happening here? Why are you all just sitting here?
They seem to think I keep tabs on you guys.
Well, we're all going to take a trip to speak to the Grey Lord.
The who?
I offered to go, and they wanted to wait for you. Apparently, he's a huge fan of you.
I like all you. Speaking of which, where's everyone else?
I don't know. I'm not their keeper.
Well, they're going to come back today.
I sure hope so. Unless someone else in this city got to them first. I don't know.
Anna's just
he
gonna
puts-
abscond.
You see an expression on his face that indicates that he didn't think of that, and he's now worried that might happen. And he says, "Right, well, sit tight. and we'll wait for them to get here. You want some ale?
I'm good for now. I'll see if
Flynn,
they.
buckle in for the ride. This is my 6th one.
This guy knows how to run up a tab. Okay, and I would say about another 40 minutes passed. It's probably getting close to like 4 or 5 in the afternoon when the other 3 return to Keel Hall Heights.
So definitely similar approach to Flynn.
Mhm.
Joel knows that there were people outside. Joel wants to make sure that nobody's outside and trying to be stealthy.
Okay.
So first off, like making sure nobody's been following them, making sure nobody's waiting for them, and even then, just in case, trying to be stealthy about it.
Okay, give me a perception check and a stealth check, and let's have Anna and Raina give me a stealth check as well.
Okay.
Anna doesn't fucking care.
Raina would definitely
Oh,
follow.
did you
Shoal's
see that
lead.
go to a 1 for a hot second, Jake? Oof.
Oh dear. I got a
Alright.
13.
Well,
So
8.
22 perception, 13 stealth.
On a 22 perception, as you approach the alleyway to the Happy Sea Dog Inn, you get the sense that there is a figure down one of the alleyways here that is like keeping an eye on the road.
There are still people here. Do you think? Brannigan isn't here. Where do you think he went?
That's a good question. Maybe we ought to get inside subtly and see. Is there a window we could peek through? See what's up?
Yeah, there are 2 windows on either side of the entrance to the Happy Sea Dog if you wanted to take a peek through them.
Joel will cast Mage Hand.
Oh.
Okay.
Put them up to the windows.
Okay, Mage Hand is not invisible.
Mage hand with eyes?
Stealthily.
Yeah, no, I know that. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
10 stealth roll.
Oh.
Well, so I'm actually going to keep the stealth check you originally made for approaching anyway. so-
Beautiful.
Sorry.
And Jack, because they're like part of Shoal, they get like the blind sense that Shoal has. So they get 30 feet. Not to metagame, but 30 feet of blind sense.
So your mage hand does not get 30 feet of blind sense.
Never mind, they
Oh.
do not.
Your mage hand's perception skills are a little more constrained than when you have the full swarm together. But you're still able to see. Okay. Taking a peek through the window, you can see that there are about 2 tables full of patrons here at the bar. And then 1 table has Ruben and Flynn seated at it with Brannick and 2 other individuals. The owl Stuffkin that you saw before looks up at the window and says, "Boss," and points at it.
And as
Do
that's happening, just so you guys know, Ruben's now holding the little wooden thing, and you can't hear him, but you can see him pointing and talking about it to Brannick. Just so you know.
The ball and chain, the
Yeah.
ball and cage, I mean.
So Shoal sees the owl.
Yeah, you see the owl point at your hand.
The hand will turn into an actual hand and wave.
Okay. You see the owls. The Brannick gets up and leaves the owl Stuffkin, and the I believe it was Poppet behind, and begins walking towards the front door.
He's coming. He
I
has
mean,
2 friends with our friends.
you might as well just get this shit over with.
There's only, I mean, we outnumber them. Can we come up behind them threateningly?
We do not outnumber them.
We don't outnumber them.
Oh.
As you say this, the door opens and Brannick swings the door open. He's like, oh, friends, we've been waiting so long.
Brannick, you said you didn't want to eat before. Why are you inside now?
Well, quite a lot of time has passed, buddy.
Now
I got hungry.
Don't you guys have lots of shit
was
to
that?
do? God. Nothing.
No, it's my only assignment for the day. Oh, I didn't think it would take all day, to be honest, but we're glad you're here now. We're going to go take a walk to go see the Grey Lord, right?
Yep.
What?
Yippee.
What now?
Why didn't you say this before? We would have gone before, but now it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Well, I wasn't in any rush, but I didn't realize y'all were going to scram.
We have shit we have to do. We also have lives. You didn't ask us what we were doing today. And why do you assume that what you have takes precedent?
I was waiting patiently for y'all to be ready to leave, but you left out the back door, so...
He doesn't know that. He didn't know shit.
Well, I have to
We
assume
could've
you
left all the
left out the
window
back
for
door.
him,
I
he
was
knows.
watching the front.
Well, but why didn't you say anything before? Why didn't you say we needed to go somewhere?
I wasn't going to rush you.
Don't you know? You just
But-
have to ask.
Now we feel like jerks.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
no
feel like a
problem
jerk
at all. We got good lunch. I've never been to this place before, the Happy Sea Dog. We had some mutton legs, duck eggs, some succotash. It was great. But we're going to go now. And he puts his fingers to his lips and lets out a whistle. And you see the figure walk out from behind you from the alleyway. And after a few moments inside, Flynn and Ruben, you would see another figure in a black cloak and brown leathers come out through the back door from the kitchen and walk into the room. The three of them stand, or sorry, the two seated with you two stand and say, all right, come with us, and gesture for you all to walk out behind Brannick.
Brannick, can we get dinner? You ate, but we have not eaten yet.
I'll make sure something's fixed for you once we get to where we're going.
Now, who are we going to see?
The Lord of the Greybloods. He's got some questions.
Now,
Wait, isn't Lord of Greybloods?
No. No, she is not.
Oh,
can I insight check Brannick?
Sure.
Okay. It's worth a try.
Yeah, go for it.
11.
What are you looking to know about Brannick?
Are we really going to see this, who he says, and is there like an air of threat underneath what he's implying?
Ruben's like, yes. No, he seems perfectly friendly. Let me just...
Let's just not forget that he punched me.
None of us know that.
I don't know.
I-
Oh, dear.
No, he seems, he's been friendly like this to you every time you've met him so far. You can't really see any reasons why he would lie about that. He seems to be genuine.
Okay. I will ask him then. So is this gentleman the one who's going to pay us for our good work?
Yeah, he can definitely pay you. Yeah. But first, you're going to have to answer some questions. And there's not going to be any funny business, okay? You're going to have to answer truthful. So...
Oh, we always answer truthful.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do, but I've seen many a folk think that they can lie to the Grey Lord. And
Am I still in the Happy Sea Dog, or am I?
no, you all have walked out now, and you're starting to kind of walk down the alleyway and head on your way.
Can I specifically insight check that?
Wait,
Sure.
wait. Can you finish that statement?
He says, I've seen many a folk try to lie to the Grey Lord, and they don't walk away with their lives.
I got a natural 1 on the second insight check, so
heads or tails, you couldn't quite tell. Ruben, could you make a history check with advantage for me?
Yeah, I have another question though, real quick, while we do this.
Mhm.
Roll 2 history checks. Last time I right-clicked and it added it all up, and it was annoying. Let's take the 18 plus 4, 22.
All right. On a 22, one of the legends that you have heard about the Greybloods is that they are in possession of an artifact that forces people to tell the truth. And you get the impression, based on what you're hearing now, that that might be what Brannick is referring to, though you don't know anything about the validity of that claim or how it works. But it seems like he knows, and the people you're walking with know, that that's what you're in for.
Brandon, how could anybody even lie to the guy?
I don't know. I've never heard of anybody who's done it.
With all the killing and stuff. I mean, there's no other reason I would ask that question. I mean, you know.
Does Ruben look like he got punched in the face?
Is anyone else noticing that?
Make a perception check. It's going to be a pretty high DC just because he only took 1 hit point of damage and it's been a long time. No, he doesn't.
I know.
And you all begin to walk down the roadway of Keelhall Heights, ostensibly out of downtown of Toraigh, heading, who knows? We will find out.
How far have you gotten with your carving?
I busted it. I was showing Ruben inside. I accidentally clipped the inside of the cage here. I'm gonna have to start the whole thing over.
Oh,
Stupid.
I'm kind of sad that bit got interrupted. I had a whole thing planned for that thing.
The ball and cage.
Yeah, that's why I asked if I could see it.
He's gonna try it again.
I wanted you guys to come in and interrupt me being like, you see, if you take 2 cone shapes on the other side of the sphere, and then it perfectly sets it up for you to just pop it right out, you know. And then just like we've been bonding the whole time, but it's all gone.
Ruben's been giving me some tips, but I'm gonna have to start it all over. And that is where we're gonna leave off tonight's episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Tune in next week to find out what happens with this potential meeting with the Lord of the Greybloods. Until then, take care of each other and let the dice tell the story.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.